One-way missionaries. Mark chapter 8, verses 34 through 38. Then Jesus called the crowd to him along with his disciples and said, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me and for the gospel will save it." Can you imagine what it would be like to buy a one-way ticket to a remote part of the world, pack all your belongings in a wooden coffin, and wave goodbye to your past? There was a breed of missionaries around the turn of the 20th century who did just that. Determined to finish their lives in the calling that lead them forward, they were described as one-way missionaries. A good example of this sort of commitment and intentionally was a missionary named Peter Milne. Milne selected as his mission a tribe of headhunters in the New Hebrides Islands in the South Pacific. Though other missionaries had been martyred in the effort, Milne didn't shrink back into safe Christianity. He looked at them through God's eyes and lived among them without faulting their pagan culture. Had he done so, the locals would have cut off his head. He spent more than 50 years in the islands, witnessing to the tribesmen about Jesus Christ. When he died of natural causes, the tribe buried him in a grave knotted with his tombstone. When he came, there was no light. When he left, there was no darkness. When he came, there was no light. When he left, there was no darkness. What an incredible inscription of someone's life. Milne introduced them to a holy existence that changed the way they thought, talked, and lived. What might our communities look like if we faced our calling with the same no turning back attitude? These one-way missionaries understood the full implications of Jesus' call to take up your cross and follow me. History is filled with dangerous Christians who have packed up courage and taken heaven's story to familiar and not so familiar places. Bill Johnson said, "Build history with God, and He will build history through you." Build history with God, and He will build history through you. Jesus Himself said, "Unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. He who loves his life loses it, and he who hates his life in this world will keep it for eternal life." John 12:24 and 25. To confess the cross is to bear the cross. To confess the cross is to bear the cross. May my epitaph read that when I left, there was no darkness. May God bless us. Have a blessed day.